Hello everyone and welcome back to Nate the Hoof Guy. Today's video, you're getting 2 for the price of 1. That's right, 2 trims. Not necessarily by choice, but when this heifer walked into the chute, I happened to notice she was favoring her left front. But when I picked this right front up, well, pretty obvious what we've got here. We've got a problem here too. So let's get started on this right front and then we'll move over and take a look at that left front. Now you'll notice as I'm paring away here that there's some darkness appearing behind this sole. That's one of those things we look for when we're working on these. It kind of guides us, shows us where that debris might be up underneath this false sole and what we need to take away. Another thing to take note of here is that this problem is on the lateral claw on this front foot. That's not typical. Typically, you're going to find them on that medial claw, and that's due to the way that that foot strikes the ground when she takes a step. On the front feet, that medial claw is going to be the one that's going to take the majority of that ground strike force, and on the back feet, it's the opposite. It's actually the lateral claw that takes the majority of that ground strike force. That's why we tend to see those problems associated with those claws more. This false sole, well, that's the result of this cow trying to take care of this problem on her own. That sole is released in an attempt to get rid of that sole and any foreign bodies that might be attached to that and allow the corium to produce a new sole. However, in this case, we've got some digital dermatitis that's hindering that. So that's where I come in. I help remove that sole and then I clean this area up really well and take care of that digital dermatitis. Now, even though a lot of that sole had separated, most of what you're seeing here is actually new horn formation already. There's just a few patches up above that are still open, and those are the ones we need to take care of. Likely by now, you all know what's coming next. We're going to use that abrasive disc to rough this claw so we can apply our block. That block's going to elevate that other claw off the ground, giving it some rest. Then we're going to clean it really well with our chlorhexidine, and then, yes, wrap it with our salicylic acid. Then we'll move on to foot number 2. Now, as I alluded to at the beginning of this video, it's actually this left front foot that she was showing the most discomfort on. Now you'll notice as I begin trimming this lateral claw that there's remnants of a past white line in this one as well. What's the significance of that? Well, it lends itself to this idea that a lot of times we associate these problems on medial claws or these white line issues with a cow slipping or things like that. But I don't think that's necessarily always the case, and this illustrates that. Likely what I think happened here is we had a white line develop on that lateral claw, and in order for her to compensate, to deal with that, she changed the way she walked. In doing so, she ended up putting more pressure on this medial claw. Likely she put that foot a little bit further out from the midline of her body like she normally would, and that was putting pressure right on that white line at angles that weren't necessarily natural, and that's why she ended up developing a problem on this claw. Not because she slipped, but because she changed the way she walked. That can happen because of imbalances in the claws. That can happen from, in this case, problems with the other claw, but not necessarily because the cows are slipping. Luckily, everything on this lateral claw has resolved itself, so we can go on treating this foot in the standard fashion. Now, what would have happened if we had problems on both these claws? Well, you can find the answer to that on my channel page, where I've got a video that covers exactly that. Now we're going to go about trimming this one just like we did that right front. And as we do so, you're going to notice a lot of similarities between these two claws. Now the obvious difference between the two is that one is on the medial claw and the other is on the lateral. Now you might be asking yourself, is that going to change the way she walks? Is that going to make her uncomfortable or unbalanced because of that? And the answer is no. Because we've got these feet trimmed up properly now and they have the correct plane on these, and we've applied blocks to those other claws, that allows this cow to walk with a normal gait, able to put her feet underneath her the way she's supposed to. And like I said, because the plane of those claws is correct, we're not going to have uneven pressures being applied to any certain points on those claws. And even though we're putting more weight on one claw instead of on two, the fact that we've got that nice soft rubber block on there helps cushion that, takes that pressure away, and you'll notice at the end of this video when she walks out, she walks quite comfortably. All right, let's get this hoof wrapped up, and we'll see how she performs after coming in for her 2-tire pit stop. That was a NASCAR reference, but okay. Here she is on those 2 new tires, and there she goes. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you all on the next one.